there's something different about this whole thing. Oh yeah, it's Christmas time. Obviously, last video of 2022 marked the start of my collection in terms of cards and in terms of sealed collection, and it also marked the start of this little thing that I like to call making videos. And obviously that's great. 2022 will be remembered for all of those things. Personally, for me, and you also have to mention that I am ranking a set both on how good of a Pokemon card set it is, but also investments, because that also is very important for me personally. How much do I want it in my collection, and if I have like an elite trainer box of it, for example, how happy am I with that box just because of that set that is in there? So I do have to clarify that as well. And that obviously means we got to look back at every single 2022 Pokemon card set. We're gonna rank all of them from 5 being the worst one, because there are 5 sets this year, to the absolute best one. And I'm going to give you my reasons in why I actually think it is number 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Obviously, that does mean every single regular set, so, you know, taking every single regular set, but it also means Pokemon Go, which is also the number 5 spot. Yeah, Pokemon Go is probably the most disappointing set of the year. Obviously, if you're gonna connect your own set to Pokemon Go, there's a lot of expectations that come with that, and they did not live up to the expectations at all. You could have done a lot more interesting stuff with the Pokemon Go name, and they did not do that at all. They opt to go with the 2 alternate art route. I don't know why there are only 2 alternate arts in the set, but there are only 2, and both of them are not very interesting if you ask me. In my opinion, the thing that has the most potential in terms of being very expensive are the items, which I think is a lure module and the egg incubator, which are the only 2 cards that I would personally want in my collection. The Mewtwo reminds me of Detective Pikachu, and I did not enjoy that much, so I don't really care for it. Pokemon Go is also the quickest that I can go through. It barely has anything to do with Pokemon Go, and it doesn't really have much interesting cards to go through. So yeah, Pokemon Go is without question the worst set of the year. It had by far the biggest potential, because obviously it's Pokemon Go, but unfortunately only the fan arts are the ones that were actually going to be like, yes, those are good cards. Those are cards we could have had in the set, and we didn't have that, which is very sad. There are obviously 4 left, but that does not mean that the number 4 spot takes much away from the number 1. These are so incredibly close, and this was honestly really hard for me to really put into a list, but I have to go through it. And number 4 is a set that I really don't want to put at number 4, but I do have to admit that there's just not much going for it in comparison with other sets, and then unfortunately is Silver Tempest. I don't like saying it, but unfortunately it is true. Silver Tempest is a set that does, in my opinion, nothing particularly wrong. I don't think any of these sets do much wrong, but I do have to admit that for me, the alternate art selection feels like one of the worst ones. Obviously, the only card that is really interesting in terms of investment in the entire set, in my opinion, is that alternate arts and the Lugia and the Ho-Oh-V cards. Those are the only 3 cards that I would be like, oh yeah, those are cards that I want to invest my money into. But honestly, that is really sad, because it does have 3 other alternate arts, and I think they're all fine. They're all fine. They don't do much bad, but they're definitely not the best among, obviously the alternate arts of the training gallery sets, of the sets this year. And I do also have to say that I'm talking about the training gallery, I cannot rank them. I cannot rank the training gallery. Just the concept alone is fantastic enough to just talk about it, but to really say that this is the worst one, it's not 100% true. And I do have to admit that the next 3 sets are all going to be interesting in both the investment part and the Pokemon card part, but I do have to cut some corners here. The next one is also not one that I want to put at the number 3 spot, but I think I unfortunately am going to put it in the number 3 spot, but I am going to put the investment part in front with this one, because it doesn't have much going for that, and that is unfortunately Astral Radiance. I hate to say it, Astral Radiance is the only set that has more than 4 alternate arts, 6 to be precise. It does have that Machamp card and the Palkia card, which are both fantastic, but the other 4 alternate arts, it's definitely the set with the least interesting amount of alternate arts. There are 4 in my opinion here that are not really going to do much. They're just alternate arts, and that's still obviously great. If you get one, that's fantastic. There are a few here that are going to stick out in popularity and in just, you know, value, and I do only have the feeling that only Machamp and Palkia are going to stay in that realm, and the rest is just going to fall off. I do have to admit, it is the best Pokemon card set. If you're a collector, I think you're going to have the most fun with this set compared with any other set. This is where it gets really hard for me personally, because even though I did obviously have, you know, written a list down, I'm still not 100% sure if I'm gonna put them in this order, but I do feel like I have to obviously go off of the list that I made. I'm not gonna like this. Like I'm really not gonna like this, because I feel like it's probably gonna come to haunt me here. But the best set of the year is Lost Origin. Yeah, I know. Lost Origin is my favorite set, and not only my favorite set, but the best set entirely of the year. So let's first talk about Brilliant Stars and why that didn't make the #1 spot. Reason number one, it doesn't have enough going for it. Obviously, Charizard, Arceus is a mascot duo that is for the history, 100%. It is a fantastic duo. The unfortunate thing is that they really only have one card that is interesting, or, you know, at least interesting enough to keep following, and that's obviously their alternate art versions. Obviously the Charizard and the Arceus V alternate arts, both fantastic cards. The training gallery of Lost Origin is a lot better in my opinion. It has both a Charizard card that people are going to follow, it has a Pikachu card that people are going to follow, but the most important thing, Brilliant Stars, next to those other two alternate arts, have probably the worst alternate art duo in Lumineon, and I forgot the other one. I think it's a Honchkrow, now that I actually think about it. The Honchkrow and the Lumineon alternate art duo is fine. They're like, these two alternate arts make up half of the alternate art selection, so even though it does have the Charizard and the Arceus V full art of alternate arts, it doesn't make up for the loss. Those are going to be the only two cards in this entire set that is going to be interesting, and Lost Origin simply does it better. Not only do I think that 3 out of the 4 alternate arts, I think every single alternate art except for the Berserker, are fantastic in Lost Origin, Giratina being one of my favorite ones, also has a fantastic trainer gallery. That Charizard character card is a card that I have. It has a little bit in the trainer gallery, it has a little bit, or a lot in my opinion, in the alternate art selection, and it honestly still has a great, you know, entire trainer gallery. It hurts me to say this, because I think these words might come back to bite me. Brilliant Stars will be the most interesting set going forward, but I do not think it is the best set if you combine collecting and just investing together. Lost Origin is my set of the year in terms of that. I do have to admit, Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin, and honestly Astral Radiance as well, are ridiculously close together. They could honestly switch all the places up, and it would honestly still make sense to me personally. I would still be like, yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, when Crown Zenith comes out, we're going to rank every single set, hopefully, and we're going to do it in a tier list, and not in, like, you know, some sort of like standard ranking style. But when that happens, and after that, Scarlet and Violet, very excited for it, obviously. If you like this video, then you can show that with a like. I would really appreciate that. If you want to see more, subscribe, guys. And I hope 2022 was great for you. And yeah, I guess that's it. A little bit more of a shorter video this week, but I hope you don't mind. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you next time. Yeah, that was it.